Another naturalist and well-known Adirondack guide is Ed Kanze. Ed has put together a collection of his many columns and essays from over the years on the fascinating plants, fish, and wildlife that live in the wilds of the Adirondacks. Ed sat down with us in our studio a few weeks ago this summer to talk about his latest book. Ed Kanze is a well-known naturalist, nature writer, columnist, and Adirondack guide. His wonderful Curiously Adirondack videos are on our website, YouTube channel, and PBS Passport. And we are happy to have Ed here with us. Welcome, great to see you.
Thanks, Tom. Great to see you. Treat to be here.
So how have you been?
I've been well, thank you. Busy time of year.
You've written a new book.
I have written a new book. Yeah, I've been working on it for many years, piecing it together, and it's a thrill to have it out there.
You talk about your nature walks in your column in the Adirondack Explorer. You write for the Explorer, and you've also written articles for Adirondack Life, The Conservationist, and Audubon. In this month's Explorer, you describe seeing something pretty rare, a black bear up close getting swarmed by angry yellow jackets after the bear had gone after their nest in the ground, feeding on the wasp larvae and pupae, and I guess a delicious treat for the bear, but he was paying the price.
Yeah, he was paying the price, he or she. They must be delicious, those insects, and they must have a lot of energy in them, because the bear was being stung by hundreds of yellow jackets. And the yellow jackets drove the bear away from the nest, but the bear thought about it and then came back for more.
Certainly not something you see every day, which you pointed out. And so just a couple of pages before your column, Phil Terry, the great environmental historian of the Adirondacks and author, reviewed your latest book that came out this spring called The Nature of the Place, on the flora and fauna of the Adirondacks. You share stories of the hidden wonders in the Adirondacks and why they're worthy of our attention. And a nice review from Phil in the Adirondack Explorer.
Thanks. Yeah, it was the nicest review I've ever received, I think, and for two reasons. One, it said positive things about the book, which an author always appreciates. But it also describes the book really well. He really gives a good feel for what's in the book, and reviews don't always do that. So he did a bang-up job, I think.
And Phil, of course, himself a well-known and highly respected author. So
yes,
that's nice to receive that. You've written several books. This is your
seventh.
You write about your home here in this book and what makes the Adirondack so special and beautiful and fascinating, the wonders of nature and wildlife that live there, and you certainly know well, living there yourself and guiding there. In your introduction, you go on a little bit of a rant.
Yes, I do. I had to apologize to a couple of people about that rant, and one was my own son.
A 46er?
A 46er.
Basically saying that they just spend too much time racing to get to where they're going and don't pay attention to what's around them.
Yeah, it is a very common thing in the Adirondacks these days. I grumble sometimes. You know, we reach a certain age, we become curmudgeons. So my curmudgeonly side, yeah, I grumble about. I sometimes feel that the Adirondacks are being treated like a museum. It's just like a blank slate. You go out there and get exercise and climb mountains, but there's so much there. And some of the human residents of the Adirondacks have been grumbling for a long time that this isn't a park, this is our home. And well, what about the beavers and the muskrats and the maple trees and things? I mean, this is home for so many animals and plants and fungi and other organisms, and it's sort of a pity to race around it at high speed, ticking off mountains off a list, and not really being there, actually. So my book hopefully encourages people to also be there.
Stop and smell the roses.
Stop and smell the roses. And literally there's some nice roses to smell out there.
Yes. And you introduce us to some of the big charismatic animals of the Adirondacks that we're familiar with, the black bears, the moose, the snowshoe hares, the bobcats. Then you also feature lesser known critters like flying squirrels and red-backed voles that a lot of people may not have seen or know much about.
The red-backed vole is one of the most beautiful animals in the Adirondacks, but because it's the size of a mouse, it's not a mouse. People would call it one, but it's not. Voles are a whole different family related to lemmings, and they're really handsome, lovely, lovely animals. If they were big, we'd put them in a zoo and line up to see them, but they're little things, so we tend to ignore them.
You describe the fascinating lives that they live, although many of them, for the most part, go unseen, like the red-backed voles and You've seen more and more of them in the years living around your home along the Saranac River, but some it's taken a while for you to actually see them. A bobcat, for example, you've got some beautiful photographs now of a bobcat on your website that you mentioned how long it took to finally see a bobcat. And
yeah, it took pretty much a lifetime to get good bobcat photographs. And the piece in the book about bobcats is about a bobcat sighting that took place a while back. So since the book came out, or actually while the book was in production, that's when I finally had my exciting time photographing bobcats up close, actually on our property in the Adirondacks.
A cold adventure, as you described.
Yes, it was cold.
You break your book into different categories about, like we said, the critters that we know, the mammals, like the moose, and certainly the moose are facing challenges surviving in the Adirondacks that you talk about. The warming temperatures making life difficult for them.
Yeah, they've made a big comeback, or we're beginning to make a big comeback, but climate change is unfortunately trying to reverse the comeback. Where it all turns out, nobody knows. But there are three parasites that sort of define the southern edge of the range of the moose: a tick and a liver fluke and a brain fluke, worm-like things. And the warmer it is, the farther north those parasites move, so they could drive the moose well back into Canada, possibly.
You talk about the rutting season and all the rituals that deer go through.
Yes, yeah, that's one of the most fun pieces in the book, I think. And so I put it in it's the first thing that you read if you pick up that book. And I had a friend years ago, I think I mentioned him in there, who answered personal ads in the newspaper to sort of jumpstart his social life. And things got pretty wild and pretty interesting in a hurry. And, you know, deer sort of do the same thing. They were roaming around the woods. They don't see each other a lot of the time. So they leave each other little personal messages in these areas that they scrape bare. And the males leave messages, and then the females visit those spots, and they leave some replies to those messages, and it's an amazing communication system. It's really fun to learn about.
You write about how scientists are trying to figure out things still in this day and age, like what animals hibernate, and where, and how.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of debate. Some biologists would tell you that the black bear does not hibernate. I guess it's a light hibernator. You can wake up a black bear if you wanted to, whereas a woodchuck or a jumping mouse, they're deep hibernators. They're unwakeable.
You write about the birds, the loons, the owls, the songbirds, how picky bluebirds are when it comes to picking.
Yeah, they're
picking
picky.
They're
picky at our house.
Birds that not only eat fruit and berries, they tend to eat other things too. Some blossoms on trees, which you've found to be quite a surprise.
Yeah, that was a bird I thought I knew well, the cedar waxwing. It's a common bird in the Adirondacks. They arrive at our house right at the time the wild strawberries ripen, and we're starting to lick our chops thinking about all those wild strawberries we're going to pick, and they're gone in a heartbeat because the cedar waxwings find them more efficiently than we do. But they came early one year and were hanging around. I was wondering what they were eating, and I saw them in our crabapple tree. They actually eat the petals of the crabapple tree. I found that really interesting. So it's fun to learn new stuff.
Well, thank you for coming in.
Thanks, Tom.
Appreciate it. You can find Ed's book, The Nature of the Place, on the Flora and Fauna of the Adirondacks at Bookstore Plus in Lake Placid, or the Book Nook in Saranac Lake, or of course online.